member for Don Valley West.
Very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Education. Last week I asked about Schedule 2 in Bill 213 that would allow Canada Christian College, run by Charles McVety, to become a university and to issue degrees in arts and science. And I want to acknowledge the member for Kitchener Centre who raised this issue first in this House, Mr. Speaker. As so many have now pointed out, McVety is a man who has repeatedly made vile comments about the LGBT community, about Islam, and has propagated hatred. The fact that he is being rewarded either for that behavior or for supporting the Ford campaign in the last election, or both, should be a cause for great concern for anyone who values democracy in our diverse society. But, Mr. Speaker, the message that this action sends goes far beyond this specific case. In fact, it encourages institutions to rely on the protection of this government, even if they insist on harboring bigotry. And case in point, for some months, the Toronto Catholic District School Board has refused to sanction at least one of its trustees for behavior that appeared to be a breach of its own code of conduct.
Question.
The board commissioned a report in 2019 concerning the trustee's conduct, and the allegation was that trustee Michael Del Grande violated the trustee code of conduct by using similarly vile language to Charles McVety.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The question has been placed, and I'm going to recognize the Minister of Education to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. What I said at the time is that the trustees' comments were unacceptable and deeply disturbing. We live in a province where we accept all people from all walks of life, of all heritage, faith, orientation, gender, place of birth. This is the strength of our country. And I feel very strongly about this. That's why in the health and physical education curriculum, the first curriculum I unveiled, we took significant action to counter homophobia. In fact, in the context of teaching young people about homophobia, we introduced in grade 2 a section specifically dedicated to seeing the visible and invisible differences to counter this form of bullying that exists within our schools. We know there's more to do, but I have spoken out unequivocally and strongly against that trustee of Toronto Catholic, saying that it was unacceptable and urging the board to commission an investigation. And we look forward to accountability for those students who've been offended by the comments made by that trustee.
And the supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, then I would ask the minister to ask that board to release the report so that the community can understand how and why trustee Del Grande was exonerated. This is a government that ran on objection to the very sex ed curriculum, the health and physical education curriculum that you're talking about. And so there is a very little faith that this government actually supports those ideas. Mr. Speaker, we have made great progress in our province and in our country on the recognition of rights of all people to be their authentic selves. But that progress has been hard won and it's fragile. When people like Charles McVety and Michael Del Grande, who are privileged men in positions of authority, are still able to espouse hateful ideas with impunity, we all lose. It should not matter that Charles McVety supported Doug Ford in his leadership bid and in the 2018 election. It should not matter that Michael Del Grande was budget chief to Mayor Rob Ford. These men should be held to the same high standard that we demand of every child in our publicly funded schools. They should be expected to be compassionate, decent role models for all who hold them in high esteem. I ask, Mr. Speaker, again, will the government refuse to expand the power of Charles McVety, and will it release the report that went to the TCDSB so that all understand
Thank you. Thank you. Parliamentary Assistant.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and we've had this question already today. Basically, there's a process in place. There's an independent review. We're all awaiting the outcome of that independent review, and then we will be able to comment. On this side of the House, I'm sure people will agree that we have a long history of supporting all religious institutions. In fact, all three parties, Mr. Speaker, have a history in Ontario of supporting all religions, all religious communities, and all religious institutions. Thank you very much.
Next question, the member for Parry Sound Muskoka.
Thank you.